Is there anything specific that you would want people to know about this album or about the process about this album that you thought was really fun or different or unique or just in general?
Yeah, people were asking about the Silent Night arrangement with the King Singers and how I approach that because I think that was the song that I had the most direct involvement in and just so much fun to put together and figuring out how to kind of treat the King Singers and Pentatonics and how we can highlight what makes them each so great, but something still cohesive. It took a little bit to kind of figure out what the balance of that was going to be and how I was going to treating the King Singers as if they're kind of one instrument and
Hmm.
like it's a lot of homophonic stuff. They're all singing together and highlighting the high countertenor and just basically like putting all of the best parts of both groups into the song. And then Pentatonics doing a lot more kind of ad lib type stuff, more not singing together, but singing, like waterfalls, like one person enters, another person enters,
Yeah.
while the King Singers are just like holding it down. So that was something that was really cool, just figuring out how to make use of all those 11 voices.
It's a lot of voices, man, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So I'm super curious, and this is a selfish question now. I'm super curious. You can go in depth as much as or little as you want. There was definitely a lot of layers in this track, in this album. You could definitely hear the hugeness of the vocals.
for sure.
Could we talk about that for a little bit? I'm super curious just from a production standpoint because the vocals sounded so phenomenal, and I just love to hear some of the process.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for every song.
Sure.
Uh, a lot of it was really similar to how we normally produce vocals, where we just kind of stack, we like triple parts.
So
And
when you say that though, each singer essentially would have a triple part.
yeah, but it's the same note. It's the same part they're singing. They just
Yeah,
sing
yeah, yeah, yeah,
times.
yeah.
For thickness, for panning. So a lot of the bigness of the sound, I think, just comes from the added instruments. Because vocally, and just having one or two more elements in an arrangement changes the whole thing. Because when you have five voices and then you add two more voices, like on Last Christmas, and just it makes the bed so much more full. So every song pretty much had an additional element, whether it's, Kid on Christmas had full instrumentation, Making
Yeah.
Trainer. Jingle Bells had piano. Most Wonderful Time of the Year had these drums that really set the foundation. But besides the drums, it's just a five-part arrangement. Love came on Christmas definitely had more layers to it. Maybe everyone kind of sang two parts, and then Star on Top had instruments. But besides that was pretty much a regular Pentatonics five-part arrangement. Prayers for This World, strings, all that kind of stuff. Hark had the full instrumentation. Christmas in Our Hearts, just regular five-part arrangement plus Leia. And then Felice had guitars and Invincible. Yeah, I mean, so it's pretty much the same as we normally do for the most part, but then with these added singers and instruments.
That is really interesting. Like what you said, though, like, even with the addition of one or two, three different things, it creates a whole different depth to the songs.
Yeah, it just allows you, when we're mixing, Ed Boyer mixed most of the album, and he, basically getting to when you have all these different elements, you can put stuff farther back, stuff more forward. Whereas when you just have five vocals, it's more of a challenge where to put everything and how to make it sound really full.
Sure. Absolutely.
So even one additional element is just such a help with that.